Hi, everybody. This is Loren Baker, founder of Search Engine Journal. With me today, I have Mark Rofe, christmastrees.co.uk, and various other adventures. Hey, Mark, how's it going?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for staying up so late, especially on a Friday night in the UK.
it's it's still good.
Yeah, it's only what, 8 o'clock there? So not too bad, right?
Yeah, it's only 8 p.m. Yeah, it's not past my
Uh,
bedtime just yet. No, it's all good.
Stuff's not even getting started yet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So today's episode of the Search Engine Journal Show is brought to you by our sponsors, Ahrefs. And I invited Mark on because, Mark, I've been a fan of yours for like the past year. I think the first I had heard of you was your dating Mark billboard, which took off, and really a fan of kind of like some of the work that you've been doing in the digital PR side. And I'm not sure how into SEO you are at the end of the day from a technical and on-site perspective, but you do own your own site. And I think us, like in the world of SEO, there's this weird gray space between link building, PR, digital PR. So the more that we can learn about what you're doing from a digital PR perspective, the better. I think we can all be as human beings at the end of the day. But I'd also like to plug and thank our sponsors at Ahrefs. So I have my Ahrefs Monster Energy Drink Green Grape Soda here, dealing with jet lag at the moment. Ahrefs T-shirt, and today's episode is sponsored by Ahrefs Webmaster Tools. So Mark, tell us a little about yourself. How'd you get started in digital PR? What are you into? Things like that.
Yeah, so well actually my background is more kind of SEO. So I've kind
Mm-hmm.
of described myself as SEO kind of turned digital PR.
Oh, great.
So yeah, I've just been I guess I started off a while back. I made a website and I thought I was going to get rich. It was like this a little affiliate website and no one visited it. And I was like, right, I need to learn. I need to learn how to get traffic. So from that, learn SEO. Kind of was doing some old school link building as well, and then really the digital PR side kind of came about when I kind of wanted to do some more fun stuff, and I
Yeah.
realized with the fun stuff, there's potential to get kind of coverage. It doesn't always have to be fun, but that's kind of what worked for me. And yeah, it led to me building a website called editmyex.com, which kind of does as it explains. You upload a photo of you and your ex, and it will Photoshop them out for you. And then from there, I became friends with Carrie, who then went on to set up Rise at Seven, and
Mm-hmm.
took my first. I think it was one of my first positions in like a digital PR role there.
Oh,
And
okay.
so
Wow.
that's kind of my yeah intro into the PR world, I guess.
I'm a big fan of their sauce video shows. By the way, it's fun. It's fun to watch. I feel like I'm a 20 something again.
Yeah, no,
Not an old jaded SEO veteran. Like, yeah, we're gonna build the agency. We're gonna get people in. Here's a new office space. Like going back in time. It's fantastic to watch.
no, great, yeah.
Okay, amazing,
Um,
amazing. So, yeah, and then you started out with, you said it was editmyex.com. So what kind of coverage did that end up getting at the end of the day? Was it mostly UK oriented, or did you hit the US major news? Like, how did that
yeah,
work?
so I didn't really know what I was kind of doing. So at the time, I had a little kind of a bit of exposure to digital PR, but it actually got coverage not in a big way anywhere near like the billboard kind of did, which obviously
Hmm.
we'll kind of go into a bit later. But for some reason it became really big in Japan. It was on like a Japanese TV show, like a
Oh,
quiz
really?
show, and yeah, and like they had like a day. I think it's like a singles day in Japan. So
Yes.
yeah, it was kind of they loved it, but yeah, it was a little bit in the UK, a little bit kind of in Spain, but like I said, not anywhere near kind of the billboard stuff.
Kind of interesting foray, and big in Japan brings back a little bit of Spinal
Yeah.
Tap memory on that side as well. Funny, I had our guest on from Fool.com last week, Ali, and she had taught English in Japan. I lived in Japan for like 3 years, so I always love hearing
Oh,
Japan
okay.
stories. stuff like that. Yeah. So, okay, great. So that kind of took off, and then that kind of got you a little bit more into the digital PR side, everything else.
Yeah, I can't remember how. I think I just started speaking to Carrie, and I kind of said, I want to do more of this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And then, I kind of became friends with her. And then she just let me know that, hey, I'm setting up an agency. Would you kind of be interested, in joining? And yeah, just kind of went on from there. At the time, I was doing a little bit kind of contracting work, doing some technical SEO work. Um, and I just wanted to move away from doing the audits and all the other types of stuff that come with doing
Right.
technical SEO into something that was a little bit more where I thought I could have a little bit more fun. And
Hmm.
after seeing some of Carrie's work and speaking to her, I thought that Rise at 7 would be kind of a good place to do that.
Nice, nice. And then afterwards, let's fast forward a little bit to the billboard. So
Yeah,
that really took off, didn't it? Now, was that could you go a little bit into how you got that started? Was
yeah.
this a planned thing? Was this you're just kind of bored, looking for something to
So
do?
so I don't know, if your audience kind of knows about it, but basically, I put up a billboard with my face on it to get a date, and it just went absolutely kind of insanely viral. But it all kind of started off. Actually, I was just in the pub with my friend Josh, and started off as a little bit of a joke. I was like, what's going on here? Like, why are we both kind of single? Why are we struggling? And I was like, at this rate, I might need to just put my face on the billboard. And we kind of laughed about it a little bit. And then I just thought, well, what if I actually did do that? And
Mhm.
my friend Josh, I don't know if I don't know if he's a bad influence. I wouldn't say that. I think
We
he
all have
egged me
friends like
on.
that.
He
Yeah.
egged me on, and I was like, you know what, I'll just do it. So yeah, I kind of went ahead and did it. And um, at first I thought it would be funny, and it was. I thought it would be
It's
absolutely hilarious.
hilarious.
But then when I sent the billboard design across, I just had this overwhelming feeling of just regret and like, oh my god, what have I actually done? But at that point, it was too late to turn back because the wheels were in motion, and it was now going to go up. Um, because when you do something like that, you don't know what the reaction is going to be. And thankfully for me, it was, I'd say, overwhelmingly like majority kind of like positive. But things like that, you don't know. They could kind of backfire, and I could look like an
They
idiot.
could.
I mean,
No,
I
no, you
think I
don't look
do
like
look.
an idiot at
Yeah.
all.
But yeah,
So
that's kind of
just
the idea behind it.
so for our listeners and viewers, so the site is datingmark.co.uk.
Yeah,
And I just dropped it in our live channel here. But it's basically you lying there in a very presumptuous position, looking good, looking cool. Single question mark, date mark. This could be the sign you've been waiting for.
yeah,
Visit datingmark.co.uk. And you have an interesting choice of font there as well. Is that
yeah.
what font is that?
It's Comic Sans. So yeah, actually, that was the biggest kind of when people saw it. That was the first thing that kind of people commented about. Like, oh, like everything was all right, but why did he have to use that font? Like, no wonder why he's single. There's obviously kind of something wrong with him if he's using that font. But everything from my side was, it was well thought out with intention. And
Hmm.
I didn't, it wasn't all just me doing it. So I think actually my friend Josh came up with the idea of said, this could be the sign. I think he said, the sign you've been waiting for. And I was like, that's
Yeah,
great,
yeah,
I'll add that on there.
it's perfect.
um I sent the draft design across. It was like, it wasn't Comic Sans to begin with, but I sent that across to my friend Jasmine, and she was like, look, if you're going to do it, this is already silly and stupid and kind of funny enough as it is, but you've got to use like a font that people hate. Like, you should do Comic Sans. And I think that was the thing that got the most engagement in the end. So yeah, it was,
Yeah.
had most of the ideas, but had a little bit of input from other people as well.
So if you would have gone with
Um,
a really serious font, such as like Arial or Electiva or whatever, it probably wouldn't have gone as well. You think? You think Comic Sans was
um,
really the cherry on top?
well, I guess like it, because it went viral on social media. What I noticed when I was seeing the comments is a lot of people engaging about the font. and I know a little bit in the sense that the way that social media, especially like Facebook algorithm works, is the more engagement something kind of gets, the more it kind of opens up to everyone else. So yeah, I think it would have still gone viral like it did, but it probably helped it give a little bit of a kick and a push on social media in that respect. But yeah, if I was going to do it, I needed to do it in a way that didn't make me look like a, you know, a desperate loser. I wanted to do it in a way that if I was going to do this, it would make me look at least like I'm a funny desperate loser. Do you know what I mean? At least, you know, people can laugh in a good way. And if all that came away from it was that, you know, it made people laugh, then that was kind of great for me, you know.
Well, no, you don't look desperate at all, because it starts out with, on the site, at least if someone does take the time to go to the site, we'll get into the traffic numbers in a second. Here's your intro. I'm Mark, an extremely handsome and modest 30-year-old living in Sheffield. I work in marketing, and if you're reading this, then must be pretty okay at it. So not desperate at all. And an extremely handsome and modest.
Yeah, I guess
time. So this is
like,
fabulous.
yeah, it was just, you know, kind of tongue in cheek. Like you can't say you're obviously, like, you know, extremely handsome and modest at the same time. But some people kind of picked up on that as well. They're like, you know, he's all right, but why has he got to say he's extremely handsome? He just comes across like, you know, like an idiot. But you know, I think some of the jokes some of the little, you know, jokes in there kind of maybe went over people's head a little bit.
And how was the response? So first of all, I see you had quite a bit of applicants, but then you also got a lot of airtime.
Yeah,
global, I believe, right?
Yeah. So looking back now, it was kind of a very strange time in my life, that, because to be honest with you, I knew it would get coverage. Like I'm not stupid. I knew that it would get coverage, but I was a bit naive in the sense that I didn't ever imagine how kind of big it would go. Like it was absolutely crazy. Like I had a friend who I used to work with here in London, and she moved to Australia, and she went and did to the pub quiz, and I was like the answer to a pub quiz. Like I just came up, and it was like, this guy put up a billboard in UK. How many dates do you think he got? And you know, I was getting invited on TV shows. Even had like I think Kelly Clarkson runs one in the US. There's the Tonight Show, I think, that on that, some big ones here in the UK. Had Britain's Got Talent even got in touch with me here.
Really?
And they just, yeah, they kind of said to me, oh, we've seen your billboard, you know, we think you're great. We'd love to have you on the show. Do you have any talents? I don't have any talents. So, but it was just, I can't even begin to explain how much crazy stuff happened off the back of that. Like I got offered free holidays. TV productions companies got in touch. They wanted to do like me to have like my own dating kind of TV show. It was just super crazy. And basically in the end, kind of COVID came along and, you know, scuppered some of those kind of opportunities. But I think in a way that was actually quite positive, because my mind just from everything was just a bit of a mess. Like,
yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it was I can't even begin to, I think I felt like maybe how it would be, what it would be like to be famous. I had like 5 minutes of that. And you know what? I would never ever want that. Like it was a horrible experience. I was not getting any sleep at night if I knew I had live TV, then interviews the next day. A crazy time, but I enjoyed it as well. I talk about it like it was horrible. I enjoyed it at the same time.
Oh my gosh, what's the British PR TV show that's out on Amazon right now? Gosh, about the hold on. I'm having a brain fart right on the air. No more dead time. I'll look it up in a second. So I'm looking at your backlink portfolio, right? Oh,
My
Flack.
portfolio, sorry?
Oh, Flack is the show. Have you seen that show?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. So I imagine it was like being on that show, but you haven't seen it. So we'll move on. I'm looking at your backlink portfolio right now. Like all of the backlinks to datingmark.com, right? Or datingmark.co.uk. So I'm seeing kind of the repeat offenders in the British media, the Daily Star, the Sun,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. Lots of the Rupert Murdoch oriented sites. Also in the US, Cheeseburger, of course, like things like Huffington Post Greece, and then a lot of Mexican sites, Czech sites, New Zealand news sites, a lot of radio
Yeah.
stations pick this up and link to it. Sweetlicious, whatever that is, sounds really nice. Russia Today, The Mirror, Barstool Sports. So this knocked it out of the park. Does this help you? Does this help you acquire? Did this help you acquire any clients or interest from a case study style perspective? And did anyone come to you and say, "Hey, can you do a billboard campaign for us as well?"
So I was working at Rise at 7 at the time, and the agency hadn't been around that long, maybe 6 months old or something. I think it generated a lot of interest in who this agency kind of was, and I think off the back of it, we picked up some clients at Rise at 7, and they were like, "We want to work with Mark."
Oh wow, that's
So
tough.
it helped. It helped in that respect. For me, I mean, I think it's quite funny because I think it's made me look really good at marketing, but actually, if you think about it, all I really did was buy a billboard. So I guess if you want to look like you're good at marketing, just buy a billboard.
Have there been
Yes,
copycats?
there have been a couple of copycats actually. Every now and again, one pops up and someone sends it to me and said, "Oh, they've stolen your idea or whatever." There's someone in the same place that I did it, put it up like a couple of weeks later because he said like, what did he say? I think he thought it was going to be a trend that everyone was doing it, and he knew that it would kind of, if that was the case, then you had to be one of the first people to kind of do it for it to work. I think someone in Texas did one as well, and a couple of YouTubers, like some really famous YouTubers, I forgot their name or their channel, but they put one up for their friends a few months back as well. So definitely, I feel like they might have seen what I did and decided to have a go at it as well, because I don't recall seeing anyone do a dating kind of billboard before I did it. They may well have done, but if they did, I didn't see it. It didn't kind of go viral. But yeah, there's been a handful of copycats, I guess.
Nice, nice. And we had a question come in. Brent Payne asks, you had 2,363 date applications. How many dates did you go on?
Yeah, so I got, I think what you said there, 2,300 whatever applicants kind of come through, and it was getting a little bit crazy, and I thought I needed to shut it off. Like at this point, I have a pool enough people there that I can kind of go on dates with. I think if I just let it run and kind of keep going up, then it didn't feel right to kind of have them. I had more than enough there. I actually only dated, I only went on dates with 3 women from it, because I launched it in, I think it was like end of January, beginning of February, and it kind of got picked up early Feb. But not long after that, we had COVID kind of come in and lockdowns. So yeah, I did only date 3 women from it. I did get a girlfriend from it. So
Nice.
yeah, we fortunately, I think relationships were kind of tough during lockdowns. So we're not with each other anymore, but we're still quite close. And actually, I went to one of the recent England football matches with her. But yeah, so to answer the question, 3. Yeah.
Amazing. I know I applied, but I never heard back from you. So, but I won't hold it
beat
against
yourself
you.
up about it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's a nice little transition. Well, let's before we talk about football a little bit, because I know you guys are probably still a little bit sour after the loss the other week. But the billboard thing was hot. It was all over the place for a long time. And then, I saw that you had launched a new project at christmastrees.co.uk. And I guess a lot of the news around this was, first of all, like you had really made a name for yourself, at least, on digital PR Twitter, seeing stuff about you all the time. And your first project was what? What was it again? Edit My Ex, right? And
Yeah,
then dating Mark. So there's a little bit of a trend there, right? A little bit
yeah,
of a relationship trend, right? The
that's a
up
good
and
point. Yeah,
downs. And then suddenly christmastrees.co.uk, not
yeah.
necessarily connected to the other two projects. What got you into the world of Christmas trees, and how is that going over? Because that's a great domain name. Like from an exact match domain name perspective, you
Yeah,
can't get much better than that. And it's
yeah,
also very
exactly.
seasonal. So I'd like to hear about like kind of what you got, what got you down that route, and how your first
Yeah.
year went.
So I guess like a step back from that, I set up a website where with someone else where you could buy personalized letters from Santa. So that was already kind of a seasonal website. I had a little bit of experience with seasonal websites there, and we'd been running that for kind of like 3, maybe 4 years at the time. But I felt like it had reached its kind of peak as much as it could kind of it could kind of do. And I wanted a new challenge, and it just so happened that I think end of Christmas 2019, I saw christmastrees.co.uk come up for sale and at an auction, and I was like, if this doesn't sell for a lot, I want to go for it, because I remember as a kid going and buying a real Christmas tree and thinking that one day it'd be nice to kind of do that as a business, have my own kind of Christmas tree farm.
Right.
And as I'm older now, I realize that that's pretty hard to do, because you need a lot of land and a lot of money, a lot of resources that I don't have. So I picked up that domain and I thought I might do something with that one day. So I just parked it to one side and just kept it in the back of my mind. And then as kind of COVID hit here, it got me thinking that there might be an opportunity here with COVID and lockdowns, whereby people can't go out to garden centers or whatever to buy their Christmas trees. This actually might be a big year for people to buy, real Christmas trees online. So I thought, like, let's give it a shot. So I thought, better to give it a crack. This is the best time to do it from a demand perspective, potentially. And I think a lot of people thought that, maybe I was a little bit stupid, because people wouldn't buy Christmas trees online, and they like to go and choose one, which, is kind of true. But also people also don't have cars, and they're a pain in the ass to, you know, um,
Strapped to the top.
exactly, or whatever, especially like in London, people don't have cars. So getting one delivered to your house, makes it easy, makes it kind of convenient. And in a way, I kind of got a little bit lucky, in the sense that during the summer last year, restrictions kind of eased, and it actually looked like for a little bit that things might be um, getting a lot better. And then as November kind of came around, the virus kind of spread more, and we were kind of put into a lockdown, which for me, starting a Christmas tree business, it kind of helped. There's an exceptional amount of demand. Where actually I spoke to my Christmas tree supplier, and they said that they've got more than enough trees, and don't worry, we're never going to run out. And by the second week of November, they're telling me, hey, I think we're going to run out. And I think didn't even hit December and completely ran out of trees.
Wow.
So so it was successful in some respects, but also kind of a little bit of a failure in others, because you don't want to run out of trees before you've hit kind of peak Christmas.
No, no. So did the COVID rush like really affect the demand, or was there a shortage? I
Yeah.
remember seeing something about a Christmas tree shortage last year as well.
So I can't remember if there was a shortage, but just there was definitely a shortage of Christmas tree stands. I remember that.
Mhm.
No one could get a stand for their Christmas tree. But yeah, my supplier said they've never ever seen anything kind of like it in terms of that
Amazing.
level of demand. And at least for me, I knew that I was correct in my assumption that there would be a big increase in demand this Christmas. So yeah, I'm just at the moment we're just we just kind of first week of August. I'm now getting ready for the next Christmas that's coming up.
Perfect. Whenever you say Christmas tree supplier, I get an image in my head of like Some guy in the alley with a trench coat, like, hey, you need a
You want to
Christmas
buy?
tree?
You want to buy some shoes?
Yeah. So, amazing. And you had done the Santa Claus letter site before, and I think you did have a site that was relevant from a stockings perspective, I believe, with Christmas. So, how was the experience launching an e-commerce platform, an e-commerce site? What platform did you use? Did you
Yes.
integrate any of the upsell or email marketing solutions into that first thing? Like, how was the learning curve there?
Yeah. So, to be honest with you, I just kind of stuck with what I knew. And when I had that, a novelty sock website I've had, and the Santa letter website, they were all built on WordPress using WooCommerce. And I didn't want to be in a situation where I was having to learn, make a new website kind of quite quick on a new platform that I didn't know. And
Right.
I thought that would possibly slow me down, so I just stuck with what I'd already known. um, had I not have chosen WooCommerce, I would have probably gone for Shopify. But at the time there were a couple of things that I've never used Shopify before, but there were a couple of things that I didn't particularly like from a technical SEO perspective, which
Yeah.
I think they've now sorted now. But there was stuff like, you couldn't edit the robots TXT. That was
Right.
kind of a bit annoying. But that was my main choice for choosing that platform.
Yeah, it blocks Majestic by default, which is really annoying. And they've changed that. And as I'm sure you're aware of, they've been hiring people left and right to build out their
Yeah,
internal SEO and performance teams, right? So I'm pretty excited about that. So you're still in WooCommerce then,
I am.
right
Yeah, I
now?
think if when it comes to updating the website and making it better, I'm not going to do that this year. Probably won't do it next Christmas, but I probably will, look at maybe using something like Shopify. I think that looks like a good. If I was brand new creating a website now, I'd probably go with Shopify. It was only because I needed something that I kind of knew my way around a little bit, that I chose WooCommerce.
And did you start from scratch from an audience perspective, or were you able to integrate your audience lists from the past Christmas Santa letters
No, so
projects?
I started with from scratch in terms of the audience. I didn't think that, one, whether I'd be allowed to kind of, from a marketing perspective, push um, the other products. And also with the Santa website, I was running it with someone else, and I didn't want to get into, are you cool with me,
Yeah,
promoting my own other website or
yeah,
whatever. So no, it's just started from scratch. Yeah.
got you. And you got quite a bit of press around christmastrees.co.uk as well, right?
Yeah, it didn't do too bad. I'd like to have done better, and I think I could have done better. But I think the thing is, when with this website, it's just me doing it. So I'm having to be the developer. I can't code, but I'm having to be the developer. I'm having to be the copywriter. I'm having to be the PPC guy. I'm having to be the SEO guy and the PR guy, and also the customer services guy. And kind of spreading yourself quite thin, so you can't maybe give as much attention and focus to some aspects that you'd like to, if you could.
Got you. So I have some questions that came through in our Twitter stream earlier. Just as a reminder for anyone who's currently watching live on YouTube or Facebook, you can ask a question within the comments, and we're going to go ahead and get to those. But before I get started with a little bit of audience Q&A with Mark, we have a message from our sponsors at Ahrefs. So we'll be right back. Today's episode of the Search Engine Journal Show is brought to you by our good friends at Ahrefs. And today I'd like to tell you a little bit about Ahrefs Webmaster Tools. Ahrefs Webmaster Tools is a free resource. Again, that's free. You don't even need a credit card to sign up, where you can monitor your SEO site health, know your backlinks, not just check your backlinks, but know your backlinks, then also see keywords that are bringing you traffic to your site. This gives you a better understanding of your website's SEO potential with the help of actionable SEO metrics such as search volume, keyword difficulty, and traffic value. Just go to ahrefs.com. Again, it's ahrefs.com/AWT to give Ahrefs
Webmaster Tools a spin. Again, just go to hrefs.com/AWT to check out Hrefs Webmaster Tools for free. Thank you so much, and back to our show.
How about that? Hey, do you use Ahrefs, Mark? You ever use them?
I do, yeah. I've used it in the past, and yeah, I think I actually use it at the moment. Although just the free version for my Christmas tree website, which just shows me kind of what backlinks I've got, what words I'm appearing for. Yeah, so yeah, I use
It's
it.
quite a robust free offering, by the way. I hate mixing, the sponsorships and editorial, but I'm pretty happy with what they offer from a free perspective as well. Quite useful. So again, today's show is brought to you by Ahrefs. You can go to ahrefs.com/AWT to check out Ahrefs Webmaster Tools. First question that came through is from christmastrees.co.uk asks, if you had to give up being stunningly handsome or selling Christmas trees, which one would it be?
I wonder if he could have asked that. Yeah, I think, fortunately for me, I don't think I have to give up either of those,
Great answer. Great answer. So had a lot of questions coming in about a digital PR course that you're working on, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily questions from yourself, but I've seen that you've been tweeting a little bit about you've been building this and documenting it a little bit online. So you have a digital PR course in the works. What can SEOs learn from the world of digital PR, especially you yourself? And I apologize for that earlier. With you being an SEO that's basically drifted over into the digital PR,
Yeah.
what are some of the takeaways that you've learned over the past couple of years that maybe new SEOs that are getting into link acquisition or PR could really benefit from?
I mean, I think that's a great question. I think I personally feel that, when I speak to and when I talk to the technical SEOs, they're very, very good at obviously the technical side of SEO, but they just don't really know how to go about getting links or links from, in digital PR type links. So it kind of seems a little bit, if you don't know it at all, it seems a little bit hard or kind of confusing. And what I really want to show with people with this course is that actually, you can do it probably if you a lot better than you probably think you can do if you kind of taught the processes and the ways that you can do it. And actually you can do it relatively cheaply as well. You don't always have to be spending the big amounts with it. But yeah, I think technical SEOs probably know the benefits that links kind of produce when it comes to ranking on websites. I think it's really important, especially if you're maybe wanting to start your own website, because a lot of the time, if you are starting your own website, they're going to be smaller websites, and you don't have links already. A lot of technical SEOs maybe working on bigger brands where they've already got the link. So these technical changes they make, they can kind of bring about the increase in traffic. Whereas, yeah, if you start on a website yourself, I personally feel that you're going to need links as a top priority. And then once you've got those links, then the technical SEO, the content kind of, definitely helps.
Excellent. Had some questions come in about the previous coverage that you had for your first endeavors. So, between dating Mark and stuff like that, you definitely got coverage on multiple different media outlets. Did that coverage and those relationships help you with other projects, or maybe get some of the initial coverage of christmastrees.co.uk started? And how important are relationships with the press in the long run, have you found?
So yeah, I think that's a great question. I think that people often think that you need a relationship, like a professional relationship with a journalist to get a foot in and get some coverage and get some links. And actually, I don't really think that's true, because all journalists care about really is a good story. Whatever their niche is or whatever they write about, that's what they care about. It can be helpful to have some professional relationships with journalists, because you might be able to say, hey, I've got this one, is this one for you? And they can just be like, no, sorry, or maybe you could try this other person over here and send it to them. But yeah, I would say most of the time you don't need a relationship at all. And actually, it's kind of quite hard to do now because journalists spend a lot of their time at at their computer writing up articles that very rarely are they now versus kind of how they used to be before going out and for lunches or wining and dining. And also we're spread quite, especially if you work at an agency, you might be working doing some digital PR for a finance client or also a florist or like a wine company. So unless you're kind of maybe it's a little bit different if you're in-house, because then you can really focus in and on the types of journalists that would cover whatever it is that you're doing and develop those relationships there. But a lot of the relationships that I have built with journalists, to be honest with you, they've just been through Twitter. So
okay,
I just give them a follow. And I sometimes comment on their stuff, but I've been genuine about it. I'm not sucking up to them or being like, hey, I loved your article, like please follow me back. Like it's a genuine.
I saw that
kind
you
of
love cats.
like,
I love cats too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's kind of freaky, actually. I hear people recommending that all the time, that you should check out their social profiles, see what they're into, stuff like that. Like, not a big fan of being a stalker.
No, I think one thing I do is if a journalist does cover my story, you're obviously going to thank them. So a lot of digital PR people will thank them over email. Hey, thank you. What I will tend to do is actually do that on Twitter, because if I at them and say, Hank, thanks for covering this, then they can see my profile, they can see who I am, they can see my bio, they can see my tweets. They might follow me back. So that's just kind of like one thing that I would kind of do.
Yeah, to a degree, it's showing recognition and gratefulness of what they've done, but at the same time, it's kind of introducing them to your list and building up that rapport as well, which is really cool. So I had a question come in. Besides running out of trees, what other challenges did you have launching a Christmas tree site last year?
So one of the main challenges is because it was a brand new website and I didn't have any customers, was kind of to do with social proof. So I didn't have any reviews on like Trustpilot or anything like that. So really trying to build that trust was tricky. I think I'm fortunate in the fact that the domain name I do have, christmastrees.co.uk, already has inbuilt trust there. So that's great.
Right.
But what I also tried to do was get some coverage, because then I could see, do as featured in badges on the website, which helped a little bit. And this Christmas is a lot easier because what I did is, one, I've got reviews from last year that I can use now, and two, I got people to take photos of their trees, so I can actually put their photos as product images on the websites and kind of say like, hey, this is so show people what it's actually going to look like.
That's nice. And I noticed you're sharing a lot of those on Twitter as well, in the same way that you're sharing a lot of the press coverage too.
Yeah.
Which helps.
I'm probably doing people's head in because it's August and I'm talking about Christmas, but yeah, no, I think those kinds of things help. I would say the biggest challenge though with seasonal websites is you get one shot and then that's it. And then you've got a year to try and fix that, versus say a website where, let's say, it's kind of evenly spread, sales are evenly spread through the rest of the year. You can kind of make little tweaks and be like, okay, we'll change that and we'll do that. Whereas, with Christmas, you've got one shot, and if you've got a big problem that you need to fix, you might not be able to fix it there and there because you've got other things going on that you might just have to deal with it for now and then fix that after Christmas and get that sorted for next year.
It is nice getting that nice little Christmas bonus at the end of the year, though, right? In addition to all the other work that's done, or at the beginning of the next year, whenever it comes through. But yeah,
exactly. I think what I learned from the Christmas tree website, but also the Seasonality website, though, is actually that can take a little bit of time. So I think the Seasonality website actually lost money the first Christmas I did it. This Christmas tree website really didn't make me much money at all. Like the first Christmas, it's more of a long-term thing. So once I've got a customer list, so if I provide a good product and a good service, and that chances are that customer might buy a Christmas tree again, next year or the year after and the year after. So I'm building up loyalty there. In terms of SEO, I couldn't rank last year because the website's too new. That's another challenge. Who's going to want to link to a Christmas tree website outside of Christmas? So I had to be very aggressive during that short amount of time knowing that that will then benefit me in the long term. So this Christmas might help a little bit more. But yeah,
And I
hopefully.
haven't seen you do any of the obvious, like launching Easter trees or Halloween trees or anything like that. So
I haven't been able to, unfortunately. I would have loved to have done, or like a half Christmas, because in the
right.
UK, a lot of people couldn't celebrate Christmas with their family because we were in a lockdown. So I wanted to do like a half Christmas, but apparently Christmas trees don't look very good if you try and cut them in the summer. So I couldn't do that. So there are ways to do it, but it's a lot trickier. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. And in addition to everything that you've been doing with your, well, one question I have for you is, are you doing much like consulting or agency work, or are you focusing on these specific projects? And what does it feel like the focus as opposed to work on multiple things at once?
Yeah, so I'm not doing any consultancy at the moment. So really, I'm focusing on the digital PR course that I'm creating. So it's digitalprcourse.com. And yeah, and as we're kind of getting closer to Christmas, the christmastrees.co.uk website, I think the way I was kind of thinking about that is I would be busy with the Christmas tree website for a small part of the year, and then the rest of the year I could focus on this digital PR course. So that was kind of my way of thinking about it, and my way of kind of focusing on, I guess, two things at once there.
Nice. So just for our listeners, that's digitalprcourse.com, and they can sign up to be alerted for when that's ready to go live, right? Or is it live already?
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's not live yet. So yeah, just once it is live, I'll send an email and let you know.
Amazing. So I just dropped the link. Yeah, I just dropped the link on Facebook and Twitter. And then if you're currently listening as well, it's just digitalprcourse.com. Pretty easy to remember. You can put in your email address and get early access. And then I, in addition to all of these projects that you've been working on, I also did see that you got a little bit of coverage at an England football game as well. Now, how did that come about?
So yeah, just to explain, basically the England football team, as the badge, they have 3 lions on their top, and we just had a football tournament, and there's a very popular song that sings about the 3 lions. And over here in the UK, we have a chocolate bar called Lion Bar. So I just thought it'd be funny if because I didn't have an England shirt, just to stick 3 Lion Bar chocolates on my top. I went to an England game, and I think the cameraman was looking for idiots in the crowd and saw me. So yeah, ended up appeared on the screen, and off the back of that, ended up kind of going a little bit viral here in the UK. On social media. But I think when we kind of talk about viral, I think one thing that I have learned is that in order to do that, whilst that was completely accidental, it kind of worked. The 2 things it kind of needed was, one, it needed to provoke a reaction. It made people laugh. That was the reaction there. And then secondly, the timeliness of it as well, because England were obviously playing in a football tournament. So I think people probably being sick of seeing my face everywhere, but that's really what I think it comes down to. It's just a reaction and the timeliness. And back to the billboard, that provoked a reaction, and it happened to be near Valentine's that I did it. So it was, the timeliness of that as well kind of helped it kind of spread, basically.
Nice. So very nice little viral tip there, right? Doing something that has that emotional hook, right? Being funny, whatever it may be, and timeliness. By the way, I really appreciate your self-depreciating humor. I see that as being a quality aspect for people. So the ability to make fun of yourself and say, "Hey, they're looking for an idiot in the crowd," is quite good. I like that as well.
Yeah, so, I don't know if that's a British thing maybe there, but yeah, that's
I think it's a little bit lost in the US. I think it's become lost in the US. People get a little bit too, why would anyone say that? Especially with selfies and stuff like that, right? Everyone wants to see the best version of their self and not introduce the worst. So amazing. So we've been able to learn how you made the transition over from SEO to digital PR, a bit about dating Mark and the lessons learned there. How can you follow? Is this a one-time thing? How can you follow up with that? Sounds like you had to actually shut off applications, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
It's one and done, right? Or you have something else up your sleeve for the future?
In terms of dating, like aspect, not so much. But every time I think of something like stupid, I write it down. Like I've got like loads of notes on my phones, and I think that maybe one day, I could get around to making that. So I haven't really got anything kind of planned at the moment. But yeah, it's just if I see something fun and dumb, and that I think that could work, then yeah, I'll give it a go.
Nice. And christmastrees.co.uk. It's time to get started, right? You say it's August, man, but it's the second half of the year. We're already halfway through Q3, right? Or Q3, yeah. Which is crazy if you think about it.
Yeah, so I'm getting ready at the moment, and I had a meeting last month. Had a Christmas tree meeting last month, which sounds kind of funny to say, but I guess that's my world now. Where we discussed what Christmas trees we were going to sell this year, and and any kind of add-ons that able to do and things like that. But yeah, I'm getting ready. Yeah,
very cool. Being proactive, right? So we have a couple of shows just for you listeners and viewers. We have a couple of shows coming up all about like how to prepare for code freezes, how to prepare for holidays ahead of time. This is a big rush, how to prepare for the Black Friday, Cyber Monday season, et cetera, et cetera. And it may sound funny. It's like 110 degrees outside right now in California, but it's time to get started because this is our time to shine. And we were looking forward to 2021 so much last year. I can't believe the year's almost over. Mark, it's been a pleasure having you. It's been getting to know you. This is the first time we've actually talked in real life. I really enjoyed it. Any last tips or anything else you'd like to give for our loyal listeners or viewers here at the SEJ Show?
Oh gosh, no, put me on the spot there. I can't think of anything at the moment. I think, I guess sign up to my course, and I'll share some more information there when I do launch it. But yeah, it's been great being on the show. So thank you very much for having me, and great to meet and speak to you too.
Again, thanks for showing up at 8 p.m. on a Friday. I guess the pubs are just starting to get cracking right now, right? So
yeah, exactly.
It's not too late, is it? So, Mark, it's been a pleasure. If I'm ever in the UK, I'm definitely going to look you up, and looking forward to seeing what you're going to do this year on christmastrees.co.uk. For everybody out there, look into Mark's projects. We've been talking about them on the show. We've been dropping the notes in the comments on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Search Engine Journal, youtube.com/Search Engine Journal, I believe. And then also leave a comment, like us, everything else that you have to do in all of the trendy YouTube videos that say at the end, ring the bell. Don't forget to ring the bell. And maybe we'll revisit things after your second season of selling Christmas trees online.
That would be good. Yeah, let's do that.
All right, Mark. It's been a pleasure. Mark Rofe, just like loaf. So I'll talk to you soon. And to all of you that are listening and viewing, have a great week and see you soon on the SEJ Show.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Search Engine Journal Show. If you liked this episode, subscribe to our channel for so much more and click the notification bell so you don't miss a thing.